Let me tell you about the most important app of this generation, because if you haven't got it yet, you absolutely need it. This is non-negotiable, lads, because for generations, men like me and you, we were able to view the female form online without persecution, without being made to feel like some sort of degenerate, being forced to scan our faces and enter our details as if we're doing something wrong. But in the UK, that is the new reality. That's the new normal. Well, not under my roof, it's not. And that is thanks to Surfshark. You see, I put my faith in Surfshark because it's a life-changing experience, this. And the best bit about it is its simplicity. You click on Surfshark on your phone, on your computer, on your app, whatever. Click I'm in America, 2 clicks, and boom. All of this nonsense that we're living with is removed, and I can be free to enjoy myself again without having to go through this nonsense. I'm a grown man, for God's sakes. And I can also enjoy football and boxing and fighting and other things that I can now have a little watch of. So if you want to cut through the red tape and enjoy your life to the fullest, download Surfshark immediately, right now. And when you do, please use my code. That would be great. Thanks. Just click the link in the description below, go to surfshark.com/kickoff, and you'll get 4 months extra of Surfshark added onto your deal for free. I've given you a lot of content over the years, lads, but just consider this is brotherhood stuff. Do you know what I mean? We got to look after each other in these times. And it's less than the price of a coffee a month, lads. So get it done. It's an easy win, and you'll enjoy it. Big love to the greatness of Surfshark, but for now, enjoy the video. Welcome back to the Kickoff. Big show for you lot today. Good catch up with the boys is in order. We got a few things to talk about. Man City are losing. Pep Alonso goes to Chelsea. Salah versus Slot. It's civil war in Liverpool. But first, we're starting off with Arsenal, who are 1 game away, Jacob, from being champions in the Premier League after a 1-0 win over Burnley. Obviously, Burnley already relegated, yet Arsenal still managed to make it such a fucking boring game. winning with a corner. I'm like, another 90 minutes, I won't get back watching these bastards. But fair play to them. They are headed for the Premier League title. But the big takeaway all over X last night was that should Havertz have been sent off, and not just the Havertz situation, but the last week, you know, with the decision that went Arsenal's way and the controversy around that, and the overall point that Arsenal in 37 Premier League games have not had a sending off or a penalty given against them all season. Lads, I want to open up the floor to you lot. Is it specific to Arsenal, or is it just all big clubs? What are we saying here?
I'll start off and say, if you're the second high scorers in the league, sometimes we're probably going to be guilty of overanalyzing some of these goals. And I think that the problem comes in not so much with the goals that Arsenal haven't had disallowed that they've scored. It's the ones like the West Ham one that was disallowed against them. And then the amount of times that you can see like-for-like situations, whether we're talking Declan Rice whining and dining players in the box, whether we're talking Saliba Gabriel sticking the nut in, and multiple other incidents where you can go, well, hold on, where's the consistency? And that's where I think a lot of the debate of the unfair treatment will come from.
Obviously, Arsenal are a hated club. We all know that. So it's not like we're saying something brand new. However, some of the big decisions, when you say no red card for Arsenal, doesn't make sense. And there's been moments when...
KG, the first thing I thought, go back to September, Newcastle played Arsenal, right? Gabriel smacks Waldemar in the face, right?
Yeah.
In the fucking face.
Yeah.
And then in the same fucking game, Elanga crosses the ball. Gabriel's got his hand in the air, sliding across the floor. His hand isn't in a natural position. It's in the air, right? He's asking a question at school, right? And off his hand, directly off his hand, I'm like, in 1 game in September, they should have had a red card and a penalty. To then make it from September, 37 fucking games.
That same game, I'm sure there was a red card shout for Havertz on Longstaff or someone.
Yeah, I think that was the season.
But then you go from that game, or you go from Man United one with the goal that is disallowed. Remember on our keeper, Bayern Dierzen goal. and he gets the arm pulled down, he gets pushed, he gets impeded, yeah? It was given. Amrin was complaining about that forever. No one was listening. It is what it is. But then obviously in the West Ham game, a little bit similar. I just talk about impeding the keeper because it was a foul, but there was so much that happened in that game. I just think a lot of the favourable decisions have gone to Arsenal. They've been complaining about the referees for years. I think finally it's just their turn.
Arsenal fans are getting too busy whining about this and trying to back ourselves when here's what we should be doing, going, yeah, we got lucky and there's been times we haven't got lucky, and you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't care. This is what Arsenal fans need to start doing. We need to start wearing this. You said it yourself, Brian. You'll never get those 90 minutes back, and I'm glad you won't. Like, we're ugly. We're lucky sometimes. We're fuckers. Hincapié got his cock out. We're a weird team, right? And we have to start wearing it. We have to start enjoying it. It's not going to change. I'm sorry. I was turning up to the Emirates last night and people going, we might get 5 or 6 tonight. No, we won't. When did we last do that? We are a team who plays on the edge. We play on the edge of everything, and we're good at it. We've got really, really good at it. After that West Ham incident, which you're right, KG, it was a foul. I'll also say there's a lot of times that I've seen referees, especially when they're in a stadium like that, a group of fans who are about to get relegated, who want that decision. I see referees fold sometimes. We got lucky. Right? But here's the thing. We've been unlucky before. And I think when all those clips started going viral of what about when Arsenal did this, what about when Arsenal did that, every single time we were just on the edge of being on the right side of the call. And I don't think that's an accident. I honestly think we've got that little set piece nerd who starts jumping around every time we get a corner. He knows what he's doing. He will have studied this. He will have said, you know what? You can probably get your elbow near a goalkeeper. You hold their forearm, it's going to get given. We're good at this. Okay. It's not luck. We've done this deliberately.
I disagree. I think there's some truth in you saying you're the bastards and you're smarter, and there's an element of trickery going on there, and you playing by the rules and cheating just enough or whatever, right? But here's the difference. When I watch Gabriel stick his nut in another player's face and not get sent off, when I watch Gabriel stick his fist clenched in Voldemort's face and not get sent off, that's not anything to do with being clever. That's deliberate favoritism. When Havertz goes studs in from behind, calf height, and doesn't get sent off, and other players, I think it was the lad at Spurs, who did the same thing, he does get sent off. Yeah. There's a clear, in my opinion, and it isn't just Arsenal, it's the big clubs. If you watch the way this season, the apologies are routinely sent out to the bottom 10 sides, and yet they never see, very rarely do they have to get sent out to the top 10 sides. I think there's a clear issue in the Premier League of referees, especially for the big six, especially for the top 4 at the time, constantly giving decisions their way, and I'm actually disgusted at this point in the way it's impacting the faith that we have as football fans, especially if you're not a top 4 side or big club side fan. You're like, why are we always getting fucked? Even this weekend, there was 2 things that happened this weekend. It was Nottingham Forest getting fucked, and this game, Burnley getting fucked against Arsenal. It's just all the time now, and I'm actually like, this is just corruption at this point.
Havertz might be important in the game against Crystal Palace, the final game of the season.
Gabriel's the most important player, arguably, in the whole fucking side, isn't he? And he could have been sent off multiple times this season. So, look,
well, he could have had a free game ban in the running during 3 games that were vital scores for them.
No, of course. But all I want to say on this, I'm not saying we're not lucky. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're not lucky, but ultimately, and we've heard this for years, you need a bit of luck to be champion. You do. And it's that thing that people say all the time. Sometimes you need to be in the right place at the right time. The only way you can guarantee you're going to get that is if you're in the right place all the time. And let's be fair to Arsenal, over the last 4 years, we've been second each time. And now we might get top. If you keep hanging around at the top of the table, you might get lucky one year. And I think that's what's happening for us this season. And I think ultimately, do I think we've been amazing this season? No. But this is 4 years of getting in the right place, and hopefully one year you get lucky. That's happened now.
It's ironic that Arsenal, arguably the least entertaining version of Arsenal, are going to be the ones that clinch a Premier League title by the looks of it. But Man City tonight are taking on Bournemouth, and the news broke during the Arsenal game last night that Pep Guardiola is leaving at the end of the season. We knew it was possible. First question is just like, will we miss Pep Guardiola as a Premier League? Will the league miss him?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm glad he's going. Needs to fuck off. Just from the levels, it's been painful. It's been painful. Let's have it right, guys. He has dominated this league. I don't know how you lot felt about Sir Alex,
Has he?
but I know watching.
Has he?
He's done. Has he? This guy, when they put all his trophies out, you're like, bloody hell. You just know that there's no stopping the juggernaut of Man City. Now
Well, there has
they're
been for
gonna
the last
feel it.
2 seasons.
Now they're
that-
gonna feel it.
is that right?
We're in the-
This fella's walking away 2 seasons without winning the Premier League.
It's not over yet, Joe. It's not over
domestic
yet.
Well, let's just
double
say-
win.
let's just say he does, though. Is that
Domestic
why, though?
double means fuck all when you've beaten Chelsea in one final and whoever else in the other final. It means nothing. You were supposed to win these cups.
Are
You
we
were
taking the
supposed to
piss?
be good. I'm not taking the piss. I'm not taking the piss at all. When your legendary manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, got dethroned by Manchester
Yeah.
City, he had wanted to walk away 10 years prior and then once
Yeah.
again 1 year prior. And he sat
Yeah.
down and he had a conversation with his missus at the time and said, I cannot
Locked in.
leave without being a winner. I cannot leave on these terms. He stayed there and he made sure, for the last time, by the way, that your fan base got the chance to celebrate lifting a Premier League title under
manager.
Alex Ferguson. He wanted
I
to
love
go,
him. I'm not
but
gonna
he
fight for
stayed
Pep like
around.
this.
Was a man who was 20 years older, way more than that than Pep Guardiola by the time he left. He was well within his rights to walk away. But he wanted to be a winner and he wanted to prove that he could do it by that point in being the underdog. By that point in being the team that didn't maybe have the riches that Man City had, and he did do it. He didn't go 2 seasons without winning it and then go, do you know what, I'll give my former assistant it.
He walked
Pep
away, you know.
spoiled it.
He walked away from Barca the year they didn't
Wow.
win it as well. That was when he left
Oh,
Barca
wow.
as well. This is
Do
the
you
toys at the
think,
problem then.
honestly, do you think that's what it is? Or do you think it's because he knows the charges are coming?
Well,
Do you think...
But before we get into that, just on the legacy thing, I want to talk about the Sir Alex thing. I miss Sir Alex Ferguson. And it's annoying because this guy robbed me of a very happy moment in my childhood. 12 points clear. Still, I'm not over it. But you know what? I'm able to look back and go, you were the Premier League. You were the Vince McMahon of the Premier League. You made it what it was. And all of these other guys who come in since him, they're just poor second places to me. And with Fergie's style of football, with the things he accomplished with kids, as they say,
They built many teams.
looking at those achievements compared to a Pep Guardiola, did Pep Guardiola play some unbelievable football at times? Absolutely. But will I miss him? It won't even come. It's not even in the same conversation as Sir Alex to me. I won't miss him at all. I won't miss his arrogance. I won't miss him trying to kiss and cuddle Newcastle players after every fucking 90 minutes we play against the prick. I won't miss him buying countless players and tossing them to one side when they don't work out, spending hundreds of millions on them.
Ruining careers.
I won't miss him ruining very talented footballers because they won't, there's so much I won't miss him clawing his face to bits. I won't miss a lot of things about Pep Guardiola.
There's that novel from, what's it called? That set about
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, there's something about Mary.
Woogie.
And I won't miss the fact that there's an asterisk beside every single title he won because the reality of the matter is this man broke the rules constantly. And the rumor is, and I heard this before the announcement, this summer is when the punishment is going to come in for Manchester City. And it's like he's jumping off the ship before he has to actually struggle. Because let's not kid ourselves. Barcelona were Messi, Bayern Munich when they were European champions, and now Man City when they could break every single financial rule. Are there 3 easier jobs in the history of football management? I'm not sure there are. And for him, the minute things get tough, to abandon the Manchester City fans, they're Man City fans who worship Pep Guardiola, understandably so. If he leaves you in your time of need, it was never about Man City. It was never about the love. It was about what you could do for him. The money you could give him to make him look better than he ever fucking was. Because the reality is, what Jurgen Klopp was able to do without that money, what people like Alex Ferguson were able to do, that's on another level to what Pep was doing because he was breaking the rules the whole time. So if he jumps now, he's a fucking disgrace.
But what you got to remember, Brian, right, is much like Jurgen Klopp, and much like Jose Mourinho, and much like Arsene Wenger, and much like Alex Ferguson, he was the man that brought the glory days to that club, wasn't he?
Not really.
Oh,
Was he?
oh no, he wasn't. No, there were 3 separate managers that had already won the title with Man City before he came.
Look, let me say, I just got to quickly say this because I love if Pep's getting cussed like this. He's made my adult life a living hell. To see Man City win title after title has been crazy, you know, but then there must be some truth in the thing of everyone has been charged for the illegal stuff they've done, you know, points deductions within the season, except Man City. And I don't understand it. Like, they're so quick to speak to everyone else but this manager. So if they do give the point deduction next season, we have to look at everything he's done with an asterisk. It has to be there now. I'm sorry.
Did you see the thing on the Premier League came out with where they put in a vote to the Premier League clubs that if you break the rules, you can do basically pay off a fine and basically agree a deal with the Premier League. They're offering that now before the charges hit. That blew my mind. I got to ask Jacob though, because you've been waiting patiently. Sorry, mate. If he does jump before these charges hit, what does that say about the legacy of Pep Guardiola in your head?
It says that he knew all along. It says that he knew all along, and he's essentially scammed the Premier League. For the last 10 years, he has known, and he's known what's going on. And let's be honest, we've all known, but we've got so bored of saying it. The first couple of times they win stuff by spending stupid amounts of money, we all say it. And then the longer it goes on, we just get bored of saying it. And then I think people start flipping around the other way. Even KG's doing it as a United fan. He's still giving him his flowers. Because we've been gaslit into going, yeah, you know what, it's legit actually. Yeah, actually, you know, if he'd done anything wrong, we'd have charged him. The whole thing is fucking bollocks. And what I feel for, look, let's be honest, like, Liverpool fans wind us up, right? They wind us all up. Klopp at Liverpool should have had more than one Premier League. Let's be honest. Yeah. For what he brought in, for what he achieved, for the set of players he put together.
The point tallies he was putting up were ridiculous.
Mate, that one where they finished 2 points behind it, like, they got robbed. And as a fan base, you got robbed of their day out. The only time they won it was in fucking COVID. Like, how many other clubs could have been robbed in that? Oh, look at us 2 years ago, right? This version of Arsenal is a pretty ugly version of Arsenal. 2 years ago, we were turning up and emptying stadiums. We were turning up doing 4, 5, 6. We could have won it 2 years ago, 2023, 2024. We got robbed. Like, how many fan bases have been robbed by this guy and what City has done?
And then he's running away before the punishment hits. And you know what? If he stayed, the sanction hit, and let's say they got deducted however many points, or they couldn't sign a player for a few years and all of this sort of stuff, and he navigated them back out of the Championship or something. Let's say they got relegated and he stuck with them and then got them right the way back and then he won a title. His legacy for me then goes through the roof. Then I'm like, okay. But if you run away before the punishment hits, you are a fucking bitch. Like,
and he loves the chat. He loves the chat. He'll sit there and go, I know, look, I didn't bother watching the PSG unit game. I was watching Stockport instead. Why don't you go and fucking manage some games against Stockport then, mate? Why don't if you love the English football pyramid that much, why don't you get down in the Championship and go every week? He won't. Yeah. He goes.
I'm sure he's going to take on a challenge now, Jacob. I'm sure his next job will be real.
Oh, yeah. Listen, he's become a master of PR. He's become an absolute master of PR. And I think this season especially, you've seen him change. The way he does the media this season has completely changed. Why is that? Because he knows the charges are coming and he wants to go out being everyone's little favourite.
All right, well, we'll move on to Liverpool. You mentioned them before. Currently a shambles after getting battered by Aston Villa, who played some beautiful football under Unai Emery, somehow not nominated for manager of the season, despite getting Champions League football with 2 games a week, which is apparently something you can't do according to Eddie Howe, and spending a tenth of what Eddie Howe spent in Newcastle, putting Newcastle to shame, this guy. So credit to Villa, by the way, and we will touch on them hopefully next week. Mo Salah had this to say after that game: us crumbling yet again to another defeat this season, very painful, not what the fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone who joins this club should adapt to it. clearly there's been a change from the manager to go away from that. And he said winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. This has caused a major debate. You've got Gary Neville saying he's pulled the pin out and thrown a grenade in the middle of the dressing room. I wouldn't be a happy player if I was there. Journalists, pundits, really pretty unanimously in siding with Slot here and having a go at Mo Salah. Do we think this come from a selfish place? Is this out of order? How do you see this, lads?
It's absolutely disgraceful and it's cowardly from Mo Salah. Mo Salah was getting on a plane, getting to AFCON, and he decided, let me bomb it. Let me bomb the place. Now, one game left. Yeah, last game of the season, let's go again. And what it does, it really makes the manager look stupid because he has to play him on the last game to say bye to the fans. The fans, Slot knows the position that he's in.
All right, I understand the timing might have been wrong, but was what he said wrong?
No, it's not. It's not wrong, but then two things can be true at the same time. He's obviously right, but you don't have to say it. And I think that the whole idea of him throwing a bomb in the dressing room, I think about that thing in politics sometimes. I say there's that dead cat thing. When a politician's in trouble, they throw a dead cat on the table. So you talk about that instead of them. I think the story of this season is last year, Liverpool weren't perfect last year. But how many times did you see them 1 goal down and then Salah scores 2 and fixes it? And basically, I think the big difference to Liverpool, they've had a load of signings didn't go well, but he's been shit. Salah's been absolutely shit. And they should have shifted him when they could have got some money for him. What this does is create a very good diversion for Liverpool fans where it keeps them talking about Arne Slot. And you're right, Brian. He's correct. Slot should go. But it doesn't mean that Salah's not been shit as well. Really, they should both be gone.
Van Dijk's been shit.
It takes a lot of the spin off of the fact that they have spent so much money. And I know people to say as a Chelsea fan, Rich coming from me, they have spent so much money. They were the champions. And not only were they unable to build on that, realistically, if the fixture set had have been maybe one fixture different, I think that Bournemouth would have pipped them to that last spot. To be honest, there's a good chance Bournemouth still do it, but Liverpool get Champions League football because of Aston Villa helping them out and doing them a favour. But as for Mo Salah himself and saying that, I've got to admit, you lot, I'm kind of torn with this one. If Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez hadn't spoke out about the board and about the appointment of Liam Rosenior, I don't think there's any chance that we would have beaten Liverpool to the appointment of Xabi Alonso, who I'm really confident about now going forward. So it can work from both ways, but I think from a departing player, it will have a different sentiment to it, won't it?
I think that Salah feels like this is my club more than it's your club at this point. I've been here nearly a decade. I've delivered so many trophies almost single-handedly in some instances. I can have my say whenever the fuck I want. And maybe he's wrong to be so entitled because players shouldn't be that way. But if any player at any club in the Premier League has a right to speak out, in my opinion, it's Mo Salah. And even if he hasn't had a great season, why has he not? He's getting older, yada, yada, yada. And yes, he's a bit of a knob sometimes. And he was a knob with Klopp sometimes, but he had more respect for Klopp.
That's what I'm saying.
And Klopp commanded that respect by getting things right more often than not. Slot has had an absolute nightmare this season. It's been an absolute disaster. And currently, Liverpool are talking like they're going to keep Slot. And Mo Salah is kind of saying, look, I'm here. I'm in the dressing room. I'm seeing what's happening on the pitch every season. I'm a legendary player at this club. This is fucking shit, and you need to get rid of him. That's kind of what he's saying, isn't it? And I'm not saying I agree the timing's not good, but for me, if you are not even certified to qualify for the Champions League or whatever on the final, and it's the final game of the season, I've got no sympathy for Arne Slot. I've got no sympathy.
I'm not having this shit.
You've taken the champions and you've made them shit. So you deserve what you get.
This is a joke. No, this is a joke. Liverpool fans spouting all the biggins saying, with this club, you'll never walk alone. All that bullshit, bro. This is 1 year of pain, yeah? You lot, fair enough, you spend Nigeria's GDP in bringing in players. You brought in Isak, you brought in Wirtz. These men have been shit. What about Virgil van Dijk? What about you guys have conceded 74 goals this season? You've lost 20 games. Yes, you can say Slot is bad, but when are the players going to look at themselves and say, is this good enough? What kind of performance we putting in? Because it's bullshit. And you can quickly blame the manager, and fair enough, we've had bad managers. But right now, that same guy, you weren't playing heavy metal football last season. You weren't. You were playing a different style of football, but it was successill, and you won the league. Right now, you're in.
Well,
you won the league.
It was heavy metal.
You won the league. No, players are falling off. Gravenberch is shit now. McAllister's fallen off now. There's so many players that haven't lived up to the standards that they set last season.
So specifically, Salah's top earner. And that's why I think it's a bit fucking rich. When you're top earner, you better make sure your sheets are fucking clean before you start putting anyone else. That's the only 100%. Thing where I think it's a bit rich from Mo Salah.
But then, if we take away the obvious factors, which is just Mother Nature, the fact that he's getting older or whatever, you do look at the law of averages and you go, well, what contributes most towards the fact that out of the last 10 seasons, you've had a shit one? Because you'd go 8 of them were really good and maybe one of them was average or whatever. Well, maybe the contributing factor being that the last season was a really good one could be the adjustment of the tactics and the manager, which again, doesn't quantify Salah's reaction and doesn't justify it, doesn't mean that just because one individual player's performances have gone down this season, then it means we throw the baby out the bathwater. But at the same time, whose have got better? Szoboszlai, maybe?
The whole fucking side's getting worse, man.
Exactly.
If that doesn't indicate that there's a problem with the manager, I don't know what does, because obviously Klopp left the blueprint and there was very much minor tweaks. The more this becomes a slot side, the worse it looks. And you look throughout the side. Everyone, yes, Mo Salah's getting worse. Everyone's getting worse. You really thought, and I'd look, because Van Dijk gets so much stick because of how great he was. Did anyone seriously think a lad who was 35 years old in a month and a half's time should play 60 fucking games this season? What are you thinking? Like, what 35-year-old plays 60 fucking games? Like, how about when you're spending 500 million? You might want to get someone to lighten the fucking load on this guy. Like, absolutely insane.
Well, then you blame them for how they operate in the transfer window. These guys, they spent all season trying to get Isak when Gay was right there and went in Jan. You went to holler at him at the last day of the season. That was stupid. There's stuff that they've done wrong, even down to the matter of like, we're giving them all this kind of leeway, but what about players down in tools? Because as soon as Xabi Alonso became available, you saw a change in everyone, the fan base and the players. Them players didn't want to play for slot, and really, they've wanted to make this thing happen. Them players are putting subpar performances. Why? Because they got the guy on their eyes on the man. You got Florian Wirtz. I would love to play for him.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Do you not think then Mo Salah has acted with the players all kind of supporting this message that he's put?
Absolutely.
I'd be surprised if he put this out and never had a word with Van Dijk or never had a word with these guys.
They've all liked the tweet. They've all liked it. Szoboszlai's liked it. They've all gone crazy. If this happened at Man United, there'll be people at Carrington for days. No one's talking about the toxicity, about how bad this is, and how when Ronaldo did it, we spoke, ego, this, ego, that. This stinks. And I don't think it's being called out because, again, Liverpool's that club that everyone wants to protect, everyone wants to support, but 500 million spent this season, and to end up like this, 9 points off us, it's a disgrace. And I'm glad it's burning down.
We've got to move on to Chelsea, but I will just touch on this last game of the season. Isak injured again against Aston Villa. I did mention before he made the switch. I said in 3 seasons he's missed 39 games, and that sort of went over so many Liverpool fans' heads. He started 8 games this season, and Willis Sula has got more goals than him. Willis Sula, who was like the boot boy when he was at Newcastle. He was cleaning the boots for him, right?
And better goal celebrations.
Michael Jackson.
Roy Keane.
I just think it's weird, but the way Liverpool went on over though, we're going to get Ekitike when Newcastle were interested in Ekitike, and yet it's like weird karma in that they've both had horrific injuries in this season, and it's like, well, swings and roundabouts. Anyway, Chelsea have got Alonso, where Liverpool stumbled and have missed out out on what seemed like a natural fit. And you look at Alonso's record. Yes, things didn't go well against at Real Madrid, but who does it go well for with the egos at that club? He took Leverkusen from second bottom in the Bundesliga to 6th place, and then 1 season later made history with an unbeaten streak, the longest in European football history, 51 games undefeated, winning their first league title. Now, Chelsea, well, you know, are a basket case of a football club, but this actually, it does give them a bit of hope, in my opinion. But what level of hope? What? Before we go to Joey, I just want to gauge, Jacob, KG, is this something that you're a bit like, this might do something here?
Do you know the big thing for me is that he's manager and not head coach. The fact that, and credit to him, he's gone in there and gone, I'll do it, but you're giving me the keys and you're giving me the credit card. And if I was a Chelsea fan, that'd be the thing I'm most pleased about. Getting that credit card away from those fucking lunatics at Blueco. Who, I think every summer it's like they're trying to make the team worse. Yeah. I honestly think that's the big thing for me, where it changes everything. And actually, it's not just Liverpool who I think should be looking at this. And I know you want to speak to KG about this as well. I'm keen to hear what United fans think about this, because you've just tied down Carrick. And I think a lot of the thought behind that is, look, there's no one else really out there who you could guarantee would make us better. Xabi Alonso, I think we all just assumed he was waiting for that Liverpool job. Liverpool have made an absolute mess of this. And if I was a United fan, even I'd be looking at this and going, that's a good manager with a good pedigree that
never would have come to us. That
you don't know that, KG. I didn't think he'd go to Chelsea. I didn't think he'd go to Chelsea.
I thought Chelsea's possible. Never forget the London thing, but there's good players at Chelsea. And now he's been given the keys. The one thing, while I'm actually quite terrified about this, is I've seen what we've done with 1 game a week. It's brilliant. We've been able to get ourselves back into the mix. Now you're telling me Xabi Alonso doesn't have to play European football and he can just focus on getting his team high up the table with only Arsenal being there. I think City's going to fall off a cliff. Yes, Maresca, we can say whatever you want to say about him. I don't think they're going to be the same. You don't lose a stool in your dressing room like that and think everything just carries on. Slot did it, but look what's happening with Slot now. I think Chelsea could be a contender for the league next season. As crazy as that sounds, I don't believe it. I don't think Arsenal are that good. When I look at the space, I think the league is pretty much open, which kind of why I look at the Carrick thing like, have we done that with Pep going? Who's fighting for the league? Arsenal, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Give it to us now. Give us next season's.
No. Wait. Surely Man United, right? Because Man United have been the best team in the league since Carrick took over.
Well, I think Man United have been the best team in the league since Carrick took over. I've said this on the kickoff. I've said this on the kickoff before, and I've been a massive Man United hater in the past. But I'm saying now, if Carrick had have took over 6-7 games before they actually got rid of Amorim, I reckon it would. Yeah, you wouldn't have won it, but you would have been closer to the title race. You could have been second. You could agree with that.
You bring a good goalkeeper to Chelsea. You bring in some centre backs. They're ready to compete.
They need 5 first teamers, in my opinion.
I'll agree with Brian there. I think we need a lot of signings, and I think that the statement that KG just made would be way more relevant, possibly, in 12 months' time. When you start acquiring players that we also agree with, that's when the fans start to maybe get on board with the idea that you've learnt from some of your mistakes. When that happens is when I might try. And
the first window will do everything.
The first window will tell us everything here.
Yeah, that's the biggest giveaway. And look, Newcastle fans have defended Eddie Howe, sometimes saying, who do you get? Who's any better than Eddie Howe? And you say Iraola available, Alonso available, De Zerbi going to Spurs, Mourinho now not good enough for Newcastle apparently, so he's going to Real Madrid, but he wasn't good enough for us. So you do have to laugh. There's a lot of managers moving around, and you know what? Just to end on a point just generally about the managerial changes and in reference to Newcastle. Newcastle have sat on their hands, and there's not a footballing person above Eddie Howe, so they've just went, we really don't want to have to appoint a new manager. So they've bottled it. Well and truly. And they're going to give Eddie Howe another bunch of money after it went so badly last summer. And I do wonder, in the level of responsibility that Spurs have fucked their club up completely by thinking they know better than football people. Chelsea, the same. Both of those clubs have now gone, you know what, we're fucking idiots. You decide. Yeah. I fully expect Spurs, who were one of the worst teams this season, next season to finish above Newcastle, because De Zerbi is a better coach than Eddie Howe, and he's going to get it. In my opinion, he's going to get support. And even though our squad right now is better than Spurs, I think we're going to see proactive clubs make big leaps.
You just said Spurs are finishing above Newcastle, so you're sure Spurs are staying up, yeah?
Oh, Spurs are staying up, mate. Newcastle have made sure of it. Unfortunately for West Ham, I do feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
I knew straight away, I went, this is the game we're turning up. Because we turned up against Spurs and West Ham in the last 6 months. So anyway, we'll leave it there, lads. We have got an interesting end to the season. Obviously, Arsenal have got Palace away. Could they slip up? Who knows? It looks and will Man City be impacted by this news at the last second?
Titles won tonight, guys.
Yeah,
titles won tonight.
Are you calling that? I think it will be as well.
I agree.
I was watching the Jamie
so.
Vardy documentary on Netflix the other day, and I thought, yeah, we're going to see similar scenes.
Mate, I hope it's done tonight. I can't do another one.
Do you not, Jacob? You should not hope it's done tonight. Do you know why? Done tonight. Go out straight on the booze. Minds off it for the Champions League final.
We'll wrap it up there. Big love to the boys. That was a great show. Thoroughly enjoyed it, lads. Don't forget to check out the lads' channels, and if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the Kickoff. We'll see you on the next one.